Welcome into the breakdown. I'm Phil Perry. That's Ted Johnson. Hope everyone at home had a very Merry Christmas. The Patriots, Ted, had themselves a Merry Christmas Eve with a win in Denver, thanks in large part to Bailey Zappe. How about Bailey Zappe? I went into that game a couple of nights ago thinking, I'm not sure I'd want him as my backup moving forward if I'm the Patriots. But now, Ted, that at least looked like a number 2 kind of quarterback. What say you? Did the needle move at all for you based on Zappe's performance in Denver?
You know what? Not really, Phil, because I always thought he was could be a serviceable backup in this league. You know, and why he can't be an everyday starter in this league, I just think he's too streaky. He gets hot, he gets cold, and I just think you need a little bit more consistency out of him. So he did not change my opinion at all, but I could see how it might have changed some opinions, like yourself, who wasn't really sure he's even maybe should be on an NFL roster.
He showed me a little something, and the consistency is a big part of that, right? The biggest difference, arguably, in his performance on Christmas Eve versus a couple of weeks before that was consistency from half number 1 to half number 2. In his previous 2 games, he struggled with just 83 yards and 2 picks in the second halves of those games. But against the Broncos, he was 15 for 20 for 164 yards with 2 touchdowns. Here's his offensive coordinator with more.
Bailey, with more experience, he gets more and more comfortable with the looks that he's seeing and what we're trying to do, and give Bailey a lot of credit.
It's time now for Board Games, brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains don't flow. Ted, what a second half for Bailey Zappe in this Patriots offense. And we've got the go-ahead score that we're going to break down for the people here right now in that third quarter. Ezekiel Elliott, big touchdown. You've got check it twice written at the top of the board. Very Christmas themed, very festive. We appreciate that, but why is it up there?
Yeah, check it twice. I mean, here's the Vance Joseph. The Patriots were doing some things on offense. They was forcing my old teammate Vance Joseph, the D coordinator for the Denver Broncos, to check into a predictable coverage where the Patriots were able to kind of take advantage of it. He should have checked it twice, my man Vance. He didn't. He only checked it once, and so the Patriots got one on my old teammate Vance Joseph here. Okay, there's a lot of interesting aspects of this play, Phil. But if you're a defense and you look at this formation, the Patriots come out on. They are on the Denver 15-yard line, 2nd and 10. What are you seeing in this formation that, as a defense, you go, this is interesting. This is atypical of what teams do. What would you say that is?
The one oddity to me would be having a receiver, Kayshon Boutte, in the backfield.
My man, Kayshon Boutte, who's got literally maybe 2-3 catches all year, is in the backfield. So that scares the defense. When you see a receiver in the backfield, whatever call they had on, they checked it into something safe, which was a lot of times, almost all game, they would check into any empty formations or wonky formations like this one. Check into something safe, cover 2. The Denver Broncos played a soft cover 2, okay? Back in the day when I was playing, when we played those those Colts teams, we would play a press cover 2 and dominate that way. The Broncos played a soft cover 2, and the Patriots took advantage of it big time, okay? So here you go, shotgun formation, 2 backs in the backfield. They check into a soft cover 2. You see the Patriots do, Kayshon Boutte does a short motion right here, which brings the safety down here. To adjust from a cover 2 to a soft cover 3, okay? But that's not important. What you want to do is just really kind of concentrate on this side of the formation, okay? Offset back with Zeke Elliott here, and it's on the left hash. It's important to know that this play works because it's on the left hash, giving you more space on the right to operate. At the snap of the ball, Pharaoh Brown right here had another decent game catching the ball, and Jalen Reagor on this side. They do deep overs right here, which pulls coverage away from the swing route, which is what Zeke ran. Jaquan McMillan, number 29 right here for the Denver Broncos. You see him kind of come in a little bit here with this route right here, and it's perfect. Ball thrown to Zeke Elliott. He catches the ball, Phil, about 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage. And here's the deal. It is a foot race between Zeke and Jaquan McMillan right here. He catches the ball 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage. You see Jaquan McMillan kind of recover. And at the point of attack, which is about a yard past the line of scrimmage, you see Zeke Elliott jump over Jaquan McMillan and then make a great play to the end zone. It's a great play design to pull the coverage over here, but started out with this wonky formation, anticipating that they were going to check into a soft cover 2 because this is something the Patriots probably saw on film. Hey, whenever teams come out in wonky formations or empty personnel, let's check to this safe cover 2, and the Patriots anticipated that, game plan for it, knew what to do, and it was just a foot race between Zeke and that cornerback. Really, really good play design, well executed, and got one up on my boy Vance Joseph.
And good anticipation, I'd say, by offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien to understand if we throw something weird at them, they'll check into that coverage and we'll make life difficult for them. If you're going to play that soft cover 2, you better have corners that can get downhill and tackle, Ted.
You got that right.
Zeke Elliott made a man miss, gave the Patriots an early Christmas gift. All right, let's take a quick look at a few numbers from Bailey Zappe against the Broncos. He had an overall grade from Pro Football Focus of 88.9. None of his 33 pass attempts were deemed, quote, turnover worthy. That's a good thing. And he had a 99.9 deep passing grade, 5 for 5 on passes of 20-plus yards down the field. And that brings us to our first technique of the night, which is presented by Shaw's, perfecting the art of fresh. Ted, Bailey Zappe came into the league. A lot of people thought he had a borderline NFL caliber arm, but he's making it work down the field because of what he can do with his arm, but some subtle quarterback play that I know you appreciated behind center.
Yeah, really nice job by Bailey Zappe, okay? Selling the, look, sometimes you're just throwing the deep ball, but sometimes you're trying to manipulate the defense to do what you want them to do. And there was a play, Jalen Reagor up the sideline. A lot of his deep throws were to his left, so it's probably a much easier ball for him to complete the deep pass to his left side than it is probably to his right side. And so that you have to keep in mind as well. But what Bailey Zappe did, a really good job on a 3rd down and 9 to Jalen Reagor. Phil, you're going to be my cornerback out here. So you're out here. You have coverage on my man Devontae Parker. Jalen Reagor out here out there on the wide left. But it's a cover 2 look. All right. So you're trying to get behind the corner and in front of that safety. That whole spot, that whole shot is how they like to do that. But what Bailey Zappe did was manipulate the corner and the safety to some degree with his body language before he threw the ball. And what did he do on this, Phil? So he sees that the corner is covering Jalen Reagor out here, but he's looking at the quarterback as he's dropping. He's not looking at the receiver. And so what does Bailey do to kind of get that guy to, manipulate and go where he wants him to go? He as he drops back, he sets, and then he just gives a subtle little shoulder shrug, just and what does that do? That makes the corner, Phil, hesitate for a split second, and then that's when he throws the ball into that whole shot behind the corner in front of the safety. Just that subtle little shoulder shrug gets the safety and the corner to hold, really not bite, but just hold for a split second, allowing Reagor to go right behind him and then complete the pass. So if you can manipulate the defense with your eyes and with your shoulders, that's going to help you as a quarterback.
Those little edges can be so helpful, and they're getting little edges pretty consistently from their littlest receiver, Ted. And Demario Douglas, he's so quick, and I know you liked what they've done in terms of using him and his quickness to out-leverage defenders and make some easy throws for Zappe. So he's got the deep stuff, at least lately he does, but he can also hit somebody like Pop Douglas for an intermediate sort of gain that can be critical as well, keeping those chains moving.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Phil, you'll play you're going to play the linebacker.
Okay.
You get on this side.
Okay.
How about get on this side? And I'm going to play Pop Douglas on this. So Pop Douglas, he's reading this linebacker. Okay. And what did? The Patriots went into empty a lot, so it spreads out the defense. When you go empty and you got 5 eligible receivers all kind of lined up wide, the middle is more open, and so you can have more space. When you're the slot receiver, you're the number 3 receiver, like they're going to put Demario Douglas in there tight, you can really work one-on-one stuff. And you knew that they were going to check into a cover 2 when we went empty. They did it all game long, and so you can anticipate the coverage. Demario Douglas on this whip route, okay? It's called a whip route. He does a great job of kind of as he comes in here, this linebacker, again, has to match to him. And sometimes the coverage is, hey, if he runs across your face, you got to match with him all the way across. The Patriots kind of set up the Denver Broncos linebackers and safeties a little bit by running a lot of crossing routes. So what on this play, after you run all these crossing routes, as Demario Douglas comes up here, he takes 3 hard steps inside, boom, plants his foot, gets this defender thinking he's going to run a hard cross like they've been doing all game, boom, pivots, back out, Zappe hits him right in the hands, turns, runs up for a nice 13-yard gain. When you can adjust to what the defense is doing, go to these kind of, one-on-one type matchups against empty formation, you can really get some yards, cheap yards, easy yards. a la Wes Welker and Julian Edelman used to do all the time against defenses. Demario Douglas has that ability to work in space and tight coverages if the Patriots will allow him.
As much success as they had the other night throwing the ball down the field, this offense has always been at its best when the quarterback's getting the ball out of his hands quickly on plays like that. So, welcome back to the breakdown. Let's take a look at Bailey Zappe's growth under pressure over the course of the last 3 weeks against the Steelers. His Pro Football Focus grade under pressure was just 31.8, and he averaged only 3 yards per attempt. Last week against the Chiefs, a little bit better, 7.4 yards per attempt, but still his grade just 40.1, not good. Then Sunday, Zappe had an 81.4 grade under pressure, and he averaged 8.8 yards per attempt with a quarterback rating of 122.3. He was a different guy. Here's offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien on Zappe's effectiveness when pressured.
That's one thing in the game that was very improved by him. You know, he was able to, you know, I always call it negotiate the pocket, manipulate the pocket. You know, it's not always perfect, right? And so he does a good job of that. I think, you know, Evan Rothstein works a lot on that with him and before stretch and everything every single day. And, you know, I think that really showed up in the game. Bailey did a really good job of that, keeping his eyes downfield and, you know, negotiating that pocket. He did a really good job there.
We're back out here for Board Games, brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains don't flow. Bailey Zappe cannot be stopped in the second half. A special night for the Patriots' young quarterback. Dare we call it Zappe Holidays? Zappe Holidays. There we go. Let's break it down, though. Why was this play, which put the Patriots, gave them a little bit of a cushion, Ted? They're up 9-7 in the third quarter. More third quarter success for Zappe. He finds Mike Gesicki getting free on a little bit of an extended play here.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it was an extended play. Look, every play you draw up isn't going to be executed perfectly because the defense is going to have a say in what you're doing, right? Obviously. So you need to have players that can make plays. And so Bailey Zappe did that by extending with his feet. And we'll show you how he was able to hit Mike Gesicki in the back of the end zone. So it's a 3-man route combination to the left side, okay? Devontae Parker, who had a nice game, was kind of set the bait here with a little kind of a curl route right here. You had another swing route by Zeke Elliott on this side. And then old Mike Gesicki, who I was really high on coming into the season, who was really not turned out to be the player we all thought he was, had a nice little catch grab in the back of the end zone on this play. He does what you call just a deep dig route on this play, okay? The Denver Broncos are in a good kind of coverage for this route combination. They play cover 2 here, 2 safeties high, soft cover 2. So these guys get free releases. There's nobody slowing them down, so that helps. Here's the thing. There was pressure on the outside from these rushers right here. 4-man rush, pressure from the outside. Once he vacates, Zappe feels the pressure, okay? He feels the pressure, and he steps up and does a great job of buying time. So that first window on this play, these guys were covered. There was no play to be had on this side early in the play, but he buys time by stepping up when he feels the pressure, and that allows Gesicki, who's now in the middle, kind of where the end zone is here. You see these 2 safeties try and match to him, and they do for a split second, and then he goes to that second window and passes all these guys, and that's when Zappe steps up and he sees him kind of breaking in between this safety and this cornerback who's on coverage out here, and he hits a dart in the back of the end zone to Mike Gesicki. Great job of, hey, the play wasn't the best play call for that coverage, but by buying time, he was able to extend the play and then wait for Mike Gesicki to get open in that second window and throw a nice ball on the run. I mean, we've talked about his pocket presence being Zappe last week, and he did another good job this week, only being sacked twice and making a play with his feet on the run. That's
modern-day quarterbacking, isn't it, Ted? It's never always going to be perfect. You are going to be faced with pressure. Can you elude that pressure, extend the play, allow your receivers a chance to get open? It's exactly what Bailey Zappe did right there. It's time for my report card. My report card is presented by the Massachusetts School of Law with a lot of high grades on there. Ooh. The defensive line getting an A in large part because of Christian Barmore, who had a massive impact on the game. 3 sacks in the third quarter alone and 8 total tackles leading the team. Earlier today, Gerard Mayo went deep on Barmore's impact.
You know, having a guy like Barmore, especially playing at the level that he's playing at right now, is definitely a huge benefit for the success of our defense.
Has he surprised you at all with how he's sort of exploded here over the last 2 months?
Not really. I'll say one thing about Barmore. Has matured since being here, and he works hard. He's doing the extra stuff. He's doing the little things, and it's starting to show up, starting to pay dividends. Definitely has a bright future, and hopefully he can keep it rolling.
All right, it's once again time for Technique, which is presented by Shaw's, perfecting the art of fresh. The great thing about Christian Barmore, Ted, playing well on a week-to-week basis is we get to come here on the breakdown. You get to be Christian Barmore. I get to be whatever poor offensive lineman he just destroyed in the recent past. Right. And so I get thrown out the club by you every single week, and I know the people at home enjoy that. But was there anything different about Barmore's dominance against the Broncos than what we had seen, or is it more of the same? I mean, he's just so big and strong, Ted. It's hard to stop him.
Yeah, more the same, believe it or not, Phil. I mean, he's really dominating, which just the bull rush, staying low and getting that initial punch and driving guys back. Hang on there, Philip. We're having fun with you. And that's his best kind of move right there. And are you kidding me? That's awesome. But now we got to start working on his kind of moves. You got to graduate to maybe something different. That poor right guard for the Denver Broncos, oh my goodness, he was getting his butt kicked by Barmore.
Quinn Miners out of Wisconsin Whitewater.
Oh my goodness, that poor guy. Goodness. But so Barmore's got to now start working off of that. So teams are really going to be saying, hey, game plan, you got to get that punch fast, and you got to get that first step out there. And so what is he going to do? Go ahead and step, Phil. Boom. Teams are going to counter off that and use that against him. So he's got to be ready. You can do a swim move. You can do an up and over move. All right, off of that. But really, his best probably thing to maybe build off of that is the old push and jerk. Boom. Good job, Phil. You get in here, push him, and then jerk him down that way, and go get the guy. So use this, all this great bull rush that you have on tape, if you're Christian Barmore, to start adding some counter moves, because teams are going to be game planning for you, and that's what you got to do to take the next step in what I think is an all-pro type of career that he's starting to build on right here.
I love what you're talking about there. He uses power, and listen, it's working. So don't get off of that. But if he's bringing that every single week and he goes up against an offensive line who says, we're not going to let him bull rush us back, let's lean on this guy a little bit, he can use that to his advantage, maybe get to the quarterback even more frequently. Great stuff by Ted. I think I jumped the snap count there on that last one, so I might have got him just a tad. But I'm sure he'll get me again next week. Wednesday, 6 o'clock. Catch the game plan. Tom Giles has the latest from Foxborough as the Patriots get ready to visit the Buffalo Bills on New Year's Eve. The game plan is presented by your local New England Honda dealers. Coming up after the break, have the Patriots' recent wins done anything to change Bill Belichick's future in New England? Back to the breakdown. With the Patriots' win over the Broncos, they improved to 4-11 on the season, but with that win, they fall to 4th overall in the projected draft order, which left some fans conflicted. However, the win moves Bill Belichick 1 win closer to passing Don Shula for the most wins all time, which now leaves us with a question. It brings us to our Monday Night Spotlight on a Tuesday, which is presented by TouchView Interactive Display Panels, available at the Oakers Company. Ted, the question is, does this win, and maybe if the Patriots finish strong the last 2 weeks of the regular season, does that move the needle for Robert Kraft in terms of whatever decision is upcoming on the head coach of the New England Patriots?
You know what, Phil? That's a great question, and you and I are doing radio this week, and that's what we're going to probably talk about most of the time. And I would say, yeah, to some degree it might, but it shouldn't. I think at the end of the day, if you're Robert Kraft, what you've seen already this year, I think and reports are, if you listen to Tom Curran's reports, which you should, that the decision's already made. I can't imagine anything that's happened post that decision in Germany that anything's going to change. But you know what? A lot of fans and there's going to be players are going to be saying, hey, you know what? You sure this is the guy you want to get rid of? I mean, look, they're still playing hard for him.
They are, and it's interesting. You watch Patriots.com puts out a video after every time the Patriots win of the victorious locker room. And this past week, it's David Andrews first through the door, sees Bill Belichick and gives him a big hug and says, we tried to do that for you tonight. We tried to do it for you tonight. Does that move Robert Kraft? If the players feel a certain way about Bill Belichick, if maybe even the players go to Robert Kraft themselves and they say, hey, that guy's not the problem. We had injuries. We didn't take the coaching that we were given. It's not Bill's issue that you have on your plate right now, Robert. There's some other stuff here. Do you think that would sway the owner?
Oh, I'll tell you what, that's going to be a case that's going to be presented to him. I don't know if the players are going to do it. Bill probably will mention, hey, these guys still fought hard for me. Obviously, Kraft, he's a sentimental guy. We've talked about that. It's going to be a very difficult decision, but if he kind of finishes on a strong note and you see guys buying in, and that's been a question all season long, that's going to make that decision that much harder on Robert Kraft. But I could see this maybe if they win these games at the end, it making that decision a lot tougher for Robert Kraft.
NFL media reporting over the weekend said that Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick have not met yet to talk about Bill Belichick's future. Should they? Should they do it soon?
I would think so. I mean, let's just think, you got the last game at home against the Jets. I mean, if everybody kind of knows what's going to happen at the end of the season, it wouldn't be nice to give Coach Belichick a nice send-off at the end of the year. So to me, for them, both the parties, to get on with their lives immediately right after the season, it would behoove them to have that discussion now and not till the end of the season.
Maybe helps you launch into your offseason, an offseason that is going to be defined by change. You get there more quickly. Maybe it helps you out. But I don't know if Bill Belichick's going to want that smooth finish. Thanks for being with us here tonight. Great job by Ted Johnson. We'll be right back here after next week's game against the Buffalo Bills.